for Monday, April 21st, 2025 at 6:03 p.m. If everyone could please stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Susan, could you please do roll call?
Sure. Andres?
Present.
Layton? Walsh?
Present.
Hepmer?
Present.
LaRose? Present. Stasinski? And Reardon.
All right. Thank you, Susan.
You're welcome.
We'll now move on to the agenda. If everyone could please review for any conflict of interest and then move to approve the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
I'll support that. All right. Motion made by Walsh, supported by Andrus to approve the agenda for Monday, April 21st. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passed. All right, public comment. Does anyone have any public comment at this time?
Hi, Carol Kusel, East Bay Township resident. Couple of topics in regards to Killingsworth Park. My husband and I walked there recently and several times and appreciate the clearing that has been done of the down trees and branches on the trails. Unfortunately, there's a new one down. It's a fairly good-sized trunk, well, compared to what the trees are there. It's probably 1.5 feet in diameter, and it's across the trail near number 6. And I also, while there, I noticed the geocache flyer at the little library that's there, and wanted to thank you for your work that you're doing on that and the publicity you're getting out on that. On a different park, on the Arbutus Lake 5 Park, I believe you all received an email from me about the ADA boat launch dock that came away from shore recently. This could have been caused by wind and ice movement. Failing you finding any other signs from the camera that's there or other people witnessing something, the township should consider that this could be caused by wind, ice, and wave. If that is the cause, action should be taken to avoid this, obviously, in the future, and that may mean temporarily removing the dock in the winter. And my observation was that part of the dock had been removed for the winter and put on shore. It may need to be all of it. Now, some of you may be wondering, really, how could wind and ice and waves be strong enough to pull a dock away from that? Those big boulders and cement, and there was even a bolt, a pretty good-sized bolt that was there. Well, to understand this better, please consider viewing a webinar featuring Brian Majak, M-A-J-K-A, who's a senior restoration ecologist at GEI. The webinar is available on the Grand Traverse Conservation District's website, and it's part of the series called Poles, Protecting Our Lakes and Shorelands. Your fellow Parks Commissioner here, Ali Hitmar, can assist you with finding it. I have a letter here that I can give you with a link directly to the webinar, and he explains how amazing the force can be of the wind, ice, and rain. And then I believe at least one of you, maybe more, received the e-news, electronic newsletter from the Spider Lake Property Owners Association that addressed this topic, that is how when ice out happens, it can be a very simple process or it can be a very dangerous process in terms of how it can impact not only the shoreline, but things around it. And so I didn't have a chance to find your email address and send it all to you. I made one copy, and I can get that electronically to you too. At the end of that e-news is an article that, with permission, was republished from the the tip of the mitt watershed, from someone who's very knowledgeable there, and some of the photos are included in here. So I hope you might take some time, or I'm asking you if you'll take some time tonight and share what you do know about what happened there and how it might be fixed and who's going to be responsible for the cost of that. And then lastly, some rules to consider, like the rules that you put together, but especially for Arbutus Lake 5 Park, consider the following. That walking or skating on ice should be at their own risk, just like swimming. You may even want that at Jens Park. And also, because it could be for both parks, because they're water parks, there is a recommended standard procedure called rinse, drain, and dry, which is a technique to wash your water, toys, and vessels, so that aquatic invasive species are not spread from place to place. And I strongly encourage you to get some kind of sign and post it at both locations so that you're educating people about doing that, and maybe then they'll take the step to do that. There was one other thing. Also, the creek at Arbutus 5, you probably know, is actually, besides going under the road and up through the hills, it actually winds around and actually comes from Spider Lake. And it's probably fed by springs along the way, but it's feeding into Arbutus Lake, and we wouldn't want to harm Arbutus Lake in any way. So you might want to consider, if there's ever any extra money, to consider putting in native plants on the sides of that creek with educational signs that tell people that the native plants really secure the shore so that the runoff isn't there, and the runoff meaning of the dirt and pollutants from it. And right now, there is runoff because the cement slabs for the benches have been put so close to the creek. The storms of rain and the melting of the snow has just caused the dirt to run away from that. So I think I spoke fast enough. Thank you for considering all these things and possibly mentioning them later in the meeting. Thanks for the work you do.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Carol.
Carol, can you send me that email from Spider Lake Association?
Here's one copy, and I'll try and,
Okay.
and then this has the link to.
Okay.
Are you the secretary?
Yes.
So I only made 2 copies of this so that you
Yeah.
guys could share it, but
Okay.
here's the link for the webinar.
Okay.
Thank you.
So just so you know, the Parks Commission does have its own email that will email all of the Parks Commission and staff all together.
Okay.
And it's pks@eastbaytwp.org. So it's on the website under the Parks Commission too. There's a clickable link where you can just email and it shoots it to everybody, just if you want.
When you say and staff, what?
I staff the Parks Commission and then the Township Supervisor, Beth. So it would go to, and then if there were an issue like the tree down or that can definitely be rectified, and then we can make sure everybody knows about it too.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, thank you. All right, is there any more public comment? No? All right. Moving on to correspondences. I believe the only one was about the Arbutus Lake number 5, the dock damage. I didn't see anything else. Or there was a TART trail work beat too. That was now passed, but that was the only couple things I seen.
Thank you for coming in.
All right. Can move on to reports. Garrison, if you could please do treasury report.
Yeah, I know, I saw the meetings from last month. I know there's this 4875 credit that I think Ryan asked about for Arbutus Lake 5. Do we know what happened there?
That was a rebate on some equipment that we were able to get. So we were able to get a little bit less of a cost on that.
Because the picnic tables were damaged or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
I forget exactly which piece of equipment, but it was able to be gotten at a less of a price. So.
And Sam, do you happen to know that we did 2,676 for Holiday Woodlands? Was that for trail design, or do we know what that payment was for?
I assume that's for the public engagement
Ah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
for this year with
Yep.
Beckett and Rader, but I can dive into that if.
That
Make
was my only question. Other than that, all looks good.
Right. If there's no questions on that,
And if you guys ever have any questions on anything, please feel free to reach out ahead too, and then I can make sure I dive in.
Yeah.
thank you. There's no more on the treasurer's report. We can move on to a staff report. Sam, do you got anything?
Yeah, absolutely. So, top of the list is Arbutus number 5. So Dan went out right after we were made aware of it. He took a look, he took photographs, and then he shared those with our engineer. And so he's been working on a solution to prevent this from the future. What happened was we had those 2 back-to-back very large wind events, and there was still ice on the lake. And so it was just kind of a combination of a perfect storm situation. I will have an update on a recommendation from the engineer as they work through the process on how they're going to address that. I also wanted to thank Ryan for attending the last board meeting and doing the quarterly report. The next one is July 14th, and it'll be Corey and Ally that will be attending that one. And we have our geocaching event coming up on May 3rd from 1 to 3 over at Grace McDonald. It's posted on the township website under the news section and is also on the geocaching website now, like the national one. Applications closed on Friday last week, April 18th, and we received 17 applications for the farmers market. So the Food Security Incubator will be meeting on Wednesday this week, April 23rd, to discuss and approve the list. And I'm not sure if you guys know that we added one more person to it. Brooke Jade added to the Food Security Advisory Committee.
She was
Just wanted
here
to
at
make
last
sure,
month's meeting, yeah.
trying to remember time, all of the things.
And she'll be very good.
Yes.
I know Brooke,
Yes,
yeah.
and she's a great asset to the advisory committee. And then we have
Absolutely.
one remaining position open. If you know of a farmer that wants to get involved, that would be really awesome. And then the T-Mobile grant was submitted on March 3rd to support the community garden. We should find out sometime in May, so more to come on that. Grace McDonald Park update is that we're working through an RFP for both the cornhole and the fire pit together, because it's similar things, and we both approved them around the same time, so we're actually going to combine those efforts. So more to come in May or June on that. We also have a sponsorship policy coming up on next month's agenda. The attorneys are reviewing it right now for some possible First Amendment stuff with having the banners be able to be put up at the parks for
Little League.
like Little League and stuff like that. And so we're just trying to figure out some sort of policy to ensure that it's family friendly, but we also have to make sure that the policy is legal. So working through that process. So that'll be coming up. And then the board voted to approve Seeds as the market manager. So we had a kickoff meeting with them on April 16th, and they're ready to go to start helping us manage our market. So that's really exciting. And the township also submitted 2 applications to support the Holiday Woodland Natural Trail development. So that has happened, and we're waiting on that information back. So kind of a lot of grants we're waiting on. And then the Pine Grove Park survey closed, and we'll be reviewing and preparing the information for you guys with recommendations based on the public input. So that'll be coming in May as well. And then we're continuing to treat Killingsworth for autumn olive and honeysuckle this year like we have in past years. So, and if there are ever any issues, there is an engagement form on the website for people. So if there ever were like a tree down or Arbutus number 5 were to have some sort of issue, there's a form on our website that people can submit like a comment. Essentially, it's not the same thing as like a complaint violation for like a possible zoning violation. It's more of just like, hey, or they can tell us that we did a good job. We would love to hear that too. That's always welcome as well. But if like a tree is down or something dangerous is going on, then that gets sent to the staff that is associated with dealing with that, like Dan or something like that.
And where is it located on the website?
It is under, I believe, transparency. I will find out and let you guys know before the end of the meeting.
Sometimes they always say, it's just on the website, you know, and it's like, yeah, I've been down that road before. It's like, no, give me exact, 'cause can't ever find it. But, sounds good.
Is that everything, Sam?
That is everything.
All right.
And it's the Citizen Request Center under Transparency on the website.
Citizen what?
Citizen Request Center
Okay.
under the Transparency tab on the website.
Okay, and then we'll have, you said ample time. Usually you get the packets by Thursday before the meeting, right?
Yes, the attorney had requested some extra time to review the sponsorship policy, and we decided to postpone that next month after their review.
Well, what I really was asking is if for Mays, if we could have it, you know, no later than Thursday, I guess, before the, yeah, that'd be great. So we'd have time to review, you know, the outcome of Pine Grove and
Yes,
really think about, okay, good, thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Sam. Move on to Report 7C, Geocaching Subcommittee. Don't really have anything new other than the upcoming geocache event at Grace McDonald Park. Oh, is there anything else, Ryan? Garrison?
I'm planning on getting like food and drinks for that, so any suggestions for that are open.
Okay. Sounds good. If there's no questions on any of that, we can move on. Report 7D, the Food Security Advisory Committee.
We'll have more updates next month when we have our meeting.
All right. Thank you, Sam. All right. Move on to 8, the approval of the minutes from March 17, 2025. If everyone could please review the minutes.
I make a motion that we approve the minutes as presented for March 17th, 2025.
Second?
All right. Motion made by LaRose, support by Reardon, to approve the minutes from March 17, 2025. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion passed. All right. Looks like we got some business before the Parks Commission. 9A, the Parks Tour.
Real quickly with this one, this is a error on my part. It was supposed to say no action needed. There's no action needed on this. This is just for discussion.
Yeah.
And then we'll just put it on the calendar.
Okay. Yeah, so I think we've already discussed this last month, but be holding our annual Parks Tour on June 11th at 5 PM. And we'll meet, we want to start by meeting at Arbutus Lake number 5.
Why do we want to start that way, though?
The
My
date did
question.
adjust. We originally had planned for a Monday, but that would conflict with the board meeting, so we pushed it a few days.
Okay.
And so it's, the 11th is a Wednesday,
Yep.
just so you're all aware.
Okay.
And then starting, you wanted to know why we were starting in Arbutus number 5?
Right.
That was the park that we've put the most amount of improvements in at this point, other than maybe Jen's. And so I wanted to make sure that you all saw that together collectively. We're able to like do a checklist on that if there was anything that needed to be done, and then kind of move from there. Jen's is, or Grace McDonald is very close to Arbutus, and then definitely ending at Jen's to make, or seeing Jen's to also see the other improvements down there. And then Pine Grove, we just did the survey on.
Typically, I'm just saying typically, because we're already, we would do the Pine Grove, John's, and work our way back in this area. It seems like, I guess it doesn't matter, one half dozen of the other, we're just, you know, a couple miles this way.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
Jen's,
I
to
thought that was kind
Pine.
of our little gem that we've been working on, so I figured we'd start with the best and then.
I was just trying to save, because then we'll end up at Pine Grove, and then we all got to come back here.
Well, now I live quite
Not
close
all,
to there, so
not
I mean,
all.
I really don't think it's the direction.
I mean, I don't have a problem either way.
And I had anticipated meeting at the actual parks rather than at the township hall. I mean,
Right.
we can,
Mhm.
so,
Yeah. I mean, I think starting at Arbutus may be good to look at some of the issues that we're currently having.
By then, we might be able to see the repair that was
Yeah.
made. And, I know we're gonna be talking about phase two. You know, we've gotta discuss playground equipment and what would be the best fit and stuff there.
I think it's not a bad idea to switch up the order too, just because if you do the same order every year, it's like you're kind of running out of steam by the last park, so.
Right, and especially since we have so much to discuss with the first two.
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, is there any other questions on or concerns with June 11th at 5 PM? All right,
So just to be clear, the consensus was to reverse the order or to keep it the way it was?
Keep it as it's
Keep it
written
as you
here.
did. We'll start at number 5.
okay. Cool. All right, if there's no more to talk about that, we can move on to business before the Parks Commission. 9B, power of produce guidelines and policies. I think Sam's got a little description in here. Looks like we're recipient of the Groundwork Center for Resilient Communities 2025 Building Resilient Communities Grant Program. You have any more to put into that?
Yeah, absolutely. So this was a really awesome opportunity that came up as part of our farmers market, and it aligned with our action plan to add some more educational opportunities to the market. This kind of has a double whammy in that it also works with engagement as well. So it would specifically work with kids that are ages 5 to 13. And the idea of the program is it's a 13-week program that would facilitate like the next generation of farmers market like customer, and create like positive experiences attending a farmer's market, engaging with farmers, learning about agricultural practices, that type of stuff. And so it's a really awesome opportunity to serve about 20 families, or 20 kids, could be, multiple kids from one family. And the framework is that they would attend the farmer's market, they would be assigned a homework assignment that's typically agricultural related. Some of them are like, go walk in a township park, find the favorite thing that you have there, take a photo of it. And then they would bring that photo back to me, or the market manager, or whoever's there, and they would receive a $4 coupon as long as they did their homework. And then they could go shop out in the market and select some sort of produce that then they've picked. They have autonomy in the decision-making process. And it helps with like a diversity of eating. So rather than mom telling you to eat your broccoli, you picked the broccoli and you learned how to cook the broccoli. So like it actually becomes an experience that was enjoyable versus struggling to get your kids to eat vegetables, which I'm sure people are familiar with in this circle. Yeah, so it's just a really awesome opportunity to serve kids. So it'll run July 11th through October 2nd. And this is just kind of the policy document that lays out the criteria for participating, and then how each of the activities will break out throughout the markets.
So are these activities, are they just self-guided, or will there be like a person?
So one of our market volunteers, Janet, she volunteered pretty much the entire season last year. And she actually has a background in child and family services, was her previous career path, and she's a grandma, so she's got like a number of wide experiences that help facilitate like a children's program, is going to help facilitate this program. So they would come to the market from 3 to 4, and we'll have some sort of structured activity that relates to their homework. So like for the first one, it's the scavenger hunt in the farmer's market, and then they would go and do 30 minutes in a park and find their favorite thing. The next one is Taste the Rainbow. Their homework is to finish the colors they didn't find in the market to sample. So they would go home and eat orange, because we probably, I don't know, maybe we'll have peppers at that point.
So what's her name, Janet, did you say?
Janet.
Yeah, so is she like volunteering that service then? And then she would just sort of be like the leader of the pack, sort of, here's your packet,
Yeah.
and this is what we're going to do this week, and then they come back the next week for the
So
homework
they
and
kind of
that?
have one person that they can get oriented with, but then some of these lend themselves up to opportunities to have collaborative partners. So I'm working on kind of slotting some of those in. So like for the composting event, like Carter's Compost or Seeds would be a great community partner to like augment some of the, if we can't get them, we can facilitate it, but it would be definitely great to have that component. So I'm working on that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, I don't know who came up with the program and the activities, but it's a great layout.
I feel like that might have been Sam. And I feel like we need to say thank you, Sam.
Yeah,
This is great.
It's a great activities and
And it-
great homework. I just
Yeah.
really like it.
Yeah, I'm impressed by the way that this all just, boom, landed in front of us. It's a fully formed program. It's going to be really engaging and,
Yeah.
I love that they get some credit, some store credit for the homework, so they can shop around.
yeah.
What's like the grant award amount?
It was about $2,000.
Okay, so there's no cost for them to actually do it, right?
There's no cost for anybody to participate.
Cool. Awesome.
And they get a T-shirt.
Good job.
Was that actually in here?
It says,
It was supposed to just say
Well,
surprise
it's on,
gift.
oh, well, it doesn't say participant T-shirt size.
no,
Oh,
it's very
yeah, that's what
good.
gave it away. I
Yeah,
asked the t-shirt
sorry.
size.
And I think
Can
it's-
we buy T-shirts? Or are they just child size?
They are going to be for the participants of the program to graduate.
All right.
Oh, there you go, that graduate.
The
Because on the,
graduate,
so
okay.
the last day, the second to last set of homework is creating some sort of thank you gift for a farmer. And so we'll work with like
Yeah.
connecting farmers with kids and do that. And then there's a wrap-up party and certificate thing. And I had anticipated gifting the kids that finish a T-shirt that has like Power Produce 2025 on it and
Cute.
and that kind of a
Be
thing. So
cute.
something that one, and the idea is that these kids can potentially be part of this program throughout their aging. So like they could be a multiple year attendant of this program and we'll do different things each year and try to,
Maybe extend the age.
I would love to. A lot of farmers markets do have it actually extend into like a senior program as well.
Right.
I'm really excited about this one, but I'm really excited about the potential for that as well.
Absolutely.
If this is successful and we kind of can then, and actually, I was recently talking with a farmer's market downstate in Oak Park, and they have students that have been part of it when they started at 5 years old, and now they have graduated from the 13 program. So now they're looking at like incorporating some STEM stuff for that like 14 to 18 range, because the kids are still excited about being part of the market and the agribusiness and all that, but they're like older and they still want to be involved. So there's some cool possibilities with it. So I'm really excited about it.
And a good learning curve. I think, too, the introduction, the program, the safety policies, the code of conduct, those are all very good. I mean, I can't see that I could see anything to adding to any of that. Looks like it's pretty well covered, what we do and don't, want as, if you're a participant.
Be cool if you could evolve it or get them to help volunteer at some point, like,
Youth Volunteer Corps.
yeah. So this is participation,
Yeah,
learning.
things like that, yeah.
I wonder if that could, no, that gets too far off topic.
Think about that.
Yeah,
Sam.
yeah.
Well, anyway, cool, it's neat.
Yeah, so, looks like we need a possible motion here. To just,
I will move to approve the 2025 Power of Produce Guidelines and Policies as presented here in our packet today.
Support.
all right. Motion made by Hetmer, supported by LaRose to move to approve the 2025 Power of Produce Guidelines and Policies as described, presented, and discussed. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Thank you, Sam. All right, moving on to business before the Parks Commission, 9C, Park Guidelines and Rules, which you'll see in the packet here.
This is kind of a compilation of the rules that you guys already have posted in
Yeah.
all of the different parks, and then some of the, there's rules for all the parks, there's things that are
Some-
prohibited in all the parks, and then there's some specific to specific parks that you guys have. on the signage. This was kind of just an audit that I did and then compiled it.
Yeah. I think just looking at this, comments from Carol about walking/skating on the ice at your own risk, we might need to look into adding those rules for Jens and Arbutus 5.
I don't know if it's
Jens is
so much
technically
has to be a-
closed.
A rule, more so maybe talk to the
Well,
insurance provider.
just rules/guideline
Swim at your own risk or.
of some sort,
Venture on the ice at your own risk.
yeah.
Yeah, just that venture on your own ice, own risk is very
Yeah.
good.
Something about just ice safety.
Yeah, and don't we have now on the swimming, swim at your own risk?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, there's.
Could that maybe be added to the same sign?
I would think so.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, check with the insurance, because they might not want you to put a sign up. I don't
Folks
know.
do also ice fish on at least maybe Spider, but I've got a friend that lives in that area who ice fishes on one of those lakes in there.
Spider, for sure. They're
Yeah.
out there first thing. I'm not sure about that spot on Arbutus. Do they fish?
Yeah.
Out there?
Arbutus 5, they fish.
But, yeah.
Yeah, I can get guidance on what the language would be for some
Yeah.
skating verbiage.
And then I was looking at, the following pertains to Grace McDonald. It says the sledding hill is open after dark, lighting is provided. Just because of how I think, I guess. Could maybe the words "in season," the sledding hill is open after dark? Because people say, oh, well, sledding, we can get a piece of cardboard and slide down it in the summertime or in the fall time or whatever. Just,
Can
just.
I semantically say the sledding hill is open seasonally after dark?
Yeah. I think that's-
There you
Like
go.
it's provided, because sledding would imply winter.
It's winter.
Yep. Sounds good. And what about the rinse, drain, and dry water toys? I think that's excellent.
It's more
I,
of a guideline that we should post at our water.
So we have all of our short-term rental owners provide the DNR's like guide, like their little one-pager on how to clean and maintain your boats. We would mandate that they post that, even if they're not on a body of water. I could provide you guys that to look at for the next meeting and then see if that's something that you want to, or look at what other communities have done for stuff like that. I can talk to some other communities and see.
Yeah, I think the DNR has, I know the Michigan Lakes and Streams do, for sure, have something like that with washing boats and the process of that. But I liked the idea of just, like, even the water toys, the kayaks. A lot of people might even think about that. They just think it's related to motorized boats.
right. I would say it's, signage and education are obviously very important, especially since, I know Beth mentioned at one point that no invasive species were like noticed in that lake at the time. But I think it would be helpful to have some sort of like actual water station where people can do the washing. Because like, what's the point of putting up a sign and then not giving someone the tools to actually follow through with the guidance we're providing? And I don't know, I know maybe that can be like a phase 2 discussion at Arbutus 5.
Yeah, I know
That would be
to have
something I'd
that,
love to put in because that is,
the washing station needs hot water,
right.
so.
Yeah, well, ideally, theoretically, people would only be doing this like during the summer. So we could, I don't
I don't
know.
know, do we have
Like-
heated water over there, I guess, for the hot water in the sinks?
Yeah, I believe we have a hot water heater over there.
Yeah. I know there's also a couple different types of those boat cleaning stations as well. But I would love to, as we move into phase 2 of Arbutus 5, look into incorporating that because I think that is something that our community values.
And same with John's, where all that
Yeah.
goes to, too. The same should follow for John's.
Right, yeah.
Because they could carry in kayaks or canoes or whatever.
Yeah,
Wait, stand-up boards?
Say it's mostly
Yeah,
stand-ups
subs.
at Jones.
yeah. Yeah, so.
So,
I can definitely keep that in mind as we move forward with those.
Yes, I don't know if that will go on the rules right now, but I think it's a very good thing to discuss for the future.
We should post proper
Yeah.
procedures and,
Yeah.
Right, and they're already pretty much laid out. I mean,
The DNR is a standardized, like aquatic hitchhikers and how to do it.
and also on that with signage, I know we're going to hopefully sometime soon here revitalize all the signage, so they're all uniform. I mean, most of them are, but if we could just consolidate, instead of having signs all over the place in the parks, I really liked how the county did theirs. They're more natural and they sort of blend into the environment, which I thought was really a good idea.
Wayfinding signage?
Just their signage for their parks in general, with the natural wood and just the wood look on those
Oh,
Yeah.
parks.
Switching from like the blue and white to the brown.
Yeah, I just like the look. It just
This
looks more
policy,
natural.
maybe doing away with
yeah,
that.
this policy wouldn't
Is it new?
necessarily, oh, sorry, what?
Is it new that you saw, or is it?
I thought it was new, yeah.
'Cause I know
Wasn't
Civic
it?
Center has new signage.
Yeah.
That looks good.
We'd have to go look.
But I wasn't sure if there was something else out
And I
there.
know we talked about, looking or revitalizing for East Bay. But I just wanted to bring it to everyone's attention. Less signs, consolidation,
Yeah, absolutely.
would really be nice.
Yeah, this policy won't change any of the signage in the existing parks. This was just kind of an audit of the existing rules and then creating a policy so that if somebody were to come in and say, hey, what are the rules for your parks? We have something to be able to provide to them rather than like a photograph of the site at Arbutus.
yeah.
And so, yeah, I think that signage discussion is definitely something we could address at another meeting. I think that that's definitely
Yeah.
something that's in
We
your
had
guys'
talked about it, I
master
think,
plan.
last year,
Yeah.
about getting a committee together. And even at Jen's, I don't think that rule was ever changed. At Jen's, it says no dogs allowed. So, what I'm
Yes,
saying is.
yes, like the
there was
rule
wasn't
itself may
anything
have
about
changed, but the
dogs.
sign hasn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Was there any more rules or guidelines anyone would like to
Oh,
make sure we have on this document for?
I cannot recall if we discussed this. I know we also, like, when we changed that dog rule at Jen's last year, I can't recall if we did a full audit, but just the removal of vegetation rule. I know other public parklands, there's a lot of question about, like, is, like, foraging allowed on those properties? So I just wanted to bring that up to say that removal of vegetation generally, based on rules I've seen, would prohibit that.
Right.
So I just wanted to bring that up as a discussion point and say, okay, what's our stance on that? And then maybe provide some guidance for staff if they get inquiries. I don't know if you've gotten any inquiries about that, but it is about to be like ramp and morel season and things like that. So just with that in mind, I want to have something.
Even Holiday Woodlands.
Right, that's the thing, is that like, and like mushrooms are so big and those can be found anywhere. So I just wanted to clarify, does removal of vegetation prohibit foraging or no?
Yeah, I wonder where the rule came about. Was it people trying to harvest lumber or something? Like, firewood?
Well, Sam he just,
Yeah,
you
I
sort
don't
of
know
just
the
go.
history on
Yeah.
that particular rule, but I would imagine it's kind of both. It's so that people don't remove a plant that we've planted, recently or something along
Oh,
those
yeah, yeah,
lines,
yeah.
or,
Or like something that's rare
yeah,
or
that's
endangered or
protected.
like really like supports the ecosystem in some way. So,
I mean, the way I would read it is, no removal of tree, like vegetation, but I know mushrooms, people harvest mushrooms off trees, which
Right.
I don't know how that affects the tree. But now you're altering the tree, not picking a mushroom up off the ground.
is a fungus vegetation. Now we're really
I
getting.
don't,
Yeah.
I,
I guess, I just wanted to kind of bring it up to see what the
I know
groups.
foraging is really becoming
It's becoming
hotter and
really
hotter.
popular, so
Yeah,
that's why I wanted to bring it up.
That should be addressed right now.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't know if we have ever had any issues, though.
Not
and the
yet.
But,
complaints.
like with it becoming more popular, I just want to
Right.
have some sort of directive.
I think if you start to allow it, then you
Right.
would have to regulate it.
Right.
So if we just
It's-
leave it as vegetation for now until there becomes an issue, would be.
Yeah, I think
Sure.
then
Fine.
it leaves you teeth to be able to say no more if it becomes a problem.
And we can
Right.
Yes, I mean,
revitalize it.
But yeah, I would think that if you started to allow it, now you're gonna have to regulate it in some way.
Right.
That becomes
It's a slippery slope.
staffing and things.
It does sound tricky.
Even though I'm pro
Anyways,
foraging.
Yeah, I just want to bring that up, in case anyone had any really strong opinions about it.
I'd say an easy no would be not for like resale or something like that, like someone doing a business, you know? Like if you're going to pick a couple morels for dinner that night, that's something I'm not totally against. But if you're out there just getting bagfuls and then taking them to a market, that's another thing.
Like the East Bay Township Farmers Market.
That is allowable within our rules. Maybe not to harvest it out of like.
Right.
You know, a
They're
park
not
in
allowed to
East Bay
do there.
I mean, I think, I would think that someone that's doing like a couple morels to go home and cook dinner with is not gonna be at high impact, so probably nobody's gonna notice.
Right.
Like you said, if somebody was coming in and harvesting for a farmer's market
Wiping it
worth
out,
of
yeah.
product, I think then we would start to notice that our ecology is being affected and would wanna know that that's not allowed.
I wonder if it's allowed on state land in general.
There are, people who are into it are familiar with like Onyx, which is a hunting app, but it does also provide a lot of information about like publicly where you can and cannot forage. I think I'm happy with keeping it as a no for right now, but just keeping it in the back of our heads, as there are a lot of folks that are really into that sort of thing in this area.
So are these rules currently what we have at the parks posted? Okay, so there's nothing like new added into it, it's just, okay.
All basically what's hanging in your parks right now.
Kind of like is the verbiage verbatim too, or?
As far as I can tell, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
do
sure
most of
about the
signs.
Arbutus 5 use of trailer boats. I mean, we might have that on there.
Well, there
I
used
don't
to
know
be
how
that
they would-
old, there
Yeah,
used to be the old,
but we, since then, have put new
Yeah.
signage in there.
Yeah.
So I don't recall that.
I think
on
there, I
but it
think
might
there is
be.
a sign somewhere.
Yeah, if you guys, I
No.
guess it is possible that this signage at Arbutus is different than what's in our current drive.
Mhm.
I may not have the most up-to-date photos for that one, but I think most of the other ones are pretty accurate.
We ready for a motion or any more discussion?
We don't need a motion to do anything, we just,
Yes, you guys would recommend a motion.
oh, there it is, yeah, yeah. Okay, so if there's no more to discuss on these, we can, I'll make a motion to,
I was gonna say, can I make a motion, because there'd be something I'd want to add.
sure, go for it.
You okay with that?
Yeah?
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the rules, but I'd also like to have the rules revisited each year when they do the bylaws and the elections, and like have it part of that meeting.
Sure.
That way, you know, if there's something that comes up, we can address it early on. It's, you know, something we monitor annually and, you know.
Yeah, I second that.
But we had asked, you know, to find legal counsel on 2 of those items that I recall, so.
Just
do we-
insurance.
Do we want to incorporate that in on those rules, on approval of
Pending
counsel?
legal review.
Yeah,
So if I made the motion to approve the rules pending legal review and to revisit the rules annually at the election meeting,
Yeah,
organizational meeting.
it's a good idea.
That work?
Keep it in the front of our
It's
head.
insurance, not legal. We're having the insurance look at whether or not we should specify skating was, I thought, the idea. Or was it
Oh.
legal that you guys wanted to know about liability? Like,
I think I just said legal because I think
Yeah,
that's what she
liability.
said.
you guys are more interested on, from an insurance perspective, I would
Well,
assume.
I imagine the insurance is working with attorneys too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Just wanted to make sure I was
Whoever
their
we need to
concern about
check
the
in
skating.
with.
Okay.
And then, is that, do you
Yes.
need,
A second.
I think it would fall under the
Garrison.
described, presented, and discussed aspect. So I've added in that we'll add the annual review, and I'll also reach out about the skating. Was there anything else that you guys wanted me to add to it?
I think that's good. So,
I just, before we adjourn the meeting, I just have a question.
okay.
I don't think you guys have,
No,
Oh, no.
we're not to the adjournment portion yet, but, all right. Motion made,
Second, Ryan.
yes.
Yes.
All right, back to the Parks rules. A motion was made by Walsh, supported by Reardon, to approve the park rules as described, presented, and discussed, as long with the insurance company to review them. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed.
Did you get the annual?
Oh, and, sorry, it was discussed, and,
I have.
As long as everybody's on.
no, that's a good time to do it, so. All right.
Then the question back to Killingsworth and that big tree down. So do you, or how do we go about?
Yeah, just
Do
let me
you
go get my
let-
chainsaw.
do
No,
you know
I'll-
Dan
Yeah, I'll reach out to
to-
Jan.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I already
Thank
have that
you.
written down. Yeah.
I'm going on my 12th hour today.
No
so-
worries.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and that is one of, that was one of the things I had on my list of kind of the staff report was that contact form, just to make sure that that went public and that people know about it. Let anybody that you guys know that brings you any concerns, let them know about that, because that is a great way, depending on how you answer it. It's similar to like our complaint form for the planning department, where like if it's a zoning thing, it goes to Bill. If it's a short-term rental thing, it goes to me. It kind of divvies it out and then emails whoever's the people that should get that email. And then that way, it's a really great way to get information to everybody.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, just,
Can I chime in with just a general comment?
Sure.
Just to address some of your concerns, I know Beth is on the case with Arbutus 5, and she's reached out to those who installed the dock and all that. It looks like it was due to the excessive winds this spring that caused the damage. And from what I've seen, standing there and looking at it, I would agree, whether, it's a matter of dismantling it or putting, something in place to make it stronger, or, maybe there's something that wasn't done correctly, I don't know. But, whatever it is, I believe Beth is on the right path to get it corrected, and then, and I know in one of my emails to her, I was asking, if it was something like an insurance claim would cover, because, if it's a natural disaster that created that, most likely would. Could also be under warranty by the
Yeah.
contractor, so.
yeah, and it appeared
I don't
like,
know those details.
Yeah.
it appeared from the winds, because the winds would be coming out, the winds were coming out like the north-northwest, so it was actually pushing that section up against those new, block wall. And that's what did the damage. You only take so much, and it has been extremely windy all winter and this spring. So it's just nature. Never second guess the water, that's for sure. It's a hard force.
Yeah, and I'll have an update on kind of what the engineers find out and the manufacturer kind of what failed and how it's being rectified.
Yeah, and I know when we were going to put one of those at Jen's Park, we talked about that removal, but I can't remember if you had to remove them in the winter or what that was, but it only makes common sense that you would, because I one year witnessed on my lake, my dock was there when I left for work, and when I got home, the ice and the dock were on the opposite side of the lake. So, again, it may be because we did it so late in the season, it was too late to get it out, that kind of thing, but I'm sure the people
From my-
that made that would.
From my understanding, the section that was removed was what was recommended to remove. The other portion was suitable to stay, which obviously perfect conditions and the strength of ice and wind.
Right.
something failed, so, but everyone's looking into it and come up with a remedy,
I am not an engineer, so I do not
Yeah.
have an answer at this time yet.
so.
What is this? This is left on our desk. Grace
Oh,
McDonald
yes.
Park
I'm
basketball.
sorry, I forgot about that. So that is the before and after of the resurfacing over there.
Resurfacing or power wash?
Or I think power washing, I guess, yes, the power.
It looks like they painted too, no? It looks brand new.
Yeah, it looks brand new.
Did you power wash
It
that?
looks like it's a
Sam?
power wash.
No. I need to do enough at my own house, let alone at the park.
It's brand new, wonderful.
very-
Yes,
I was
so
gonna
that is
bring
the
that
before
up,
and after
but-
of over at Jen's Park. Or over at
No,
Grace
the,
McDonald, sorry, not Jen's. Park.
Arbutus 5.
Grace McDonald.
But
The one that says at the top.
you did a good job.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Figured we needed to
Very
address that. so. All right, is there anything that anyone else would like to add before?
Just one quick thing that we didn't address that Carol brought up earlier was suggesting doing a native plant installation by the benches on the creek there in between Spider and Arbutus.
Which I thought that was in the plans to do that whole shoreline. I mean, within the park anyways, we can't do anything that's not on parkland.
Yeah, and I think I remember Corey was
Yeah, is it-
suggesting that, you know.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was like, the section she was describing was like on our parkland or if it was on private property. I wasn't able,
No, I think they were saying on the park.
it's like with the benches. Yeah, okay, yeah. Are there plans to do any sort of,
I know in the original plans, there was certain sections along the lake that were already like natural, like we weren't doing anything. I don't know if there was discussion about the creek. I want to say there was, but I
thought There
don't.
was little kind of like hash marks all along for
Yeah.
native plantings, like at each bend or something like that.
But,
Now
I
can't-
mean, we'll have to look into it at our
We'll have
parks
to- and
tour
they'll-
and
yeah, yeah. take a
that could
look.
be incorporated into our phase 2
Great.
stuff.
I will look at the drawings and have that information to you about
Yeah.
what was in the originals at least, and then
Thanks.
you guys can talk about it.
Yeah,
Either way, it seems like an easy spring fix.
right. And just a fun thing to do. I don't know, would Dan do that for us or?
You probably want to contract a company to do that, that is skilled in restoration of
Mhm.
waterfront.
I know in the original plans, I swear there was discussions about what was going on in that creek area,
I
but,
think they're trying to keep it as natural as possible
Yeah.
without a lot of.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Stomping on, and, little
Yeah.
kids love cricks too, but.
yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
sweet.
But for a
And it is
washout,
kind of fragile, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's for sure. And there's an educational opportunity also there too. And yes, it does come from Spider Lake.
Mm-hmm.
the washout and stuff by the benches, we'll have to look at that and see what we can do there to mitigate that issue. I don't know if,
And actually, yeah, I should drive over there, because Saturday night is when we had a really strong downpour. So I should have known better to go over there on Sunday to see how the road was handling that, from the road down to the water. Yeah, maybe tonight on my way home. It's still a little bit light. I can go see. Yeah.
all right. There's no more general comments. We can move on to public comment, if there's any more public comment this evening.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you all for addressing the questions that I had and your really thorough discussion and bringing up additional topics. I know you already voted on the rules, but for your future, think about the general concept of leave no trace. That might be part of your signage along the way. And one of the things that I noticed and heard from some people on Arbutus Lake that are near the park is that a lot of the containers from the bait are left around and end up floating to other shores. And even even dumping of bait is potentially dumping of invasive species. Doesn't seem like it, but it can be. So think about that. And, gosh, really appreciate all the discussion about the rinse, drain, and dry. At Spider Lake, we will be getting a manual or a sign that has all the information about rinse, drain, and dry, plus manual equipment to help some people who are interested, or those people that are interested, to remove it. Honestly, I think the best way is the hot water power wash. But it's at least an educational tool of telling people. And then I encourage you all to talk with your township supervisor, because there have also been discussions from representatives from Spider Lake with her about the possibilities of establishing a high-powered hot water boat launch that's for the community. So at Spider Lake, there's a DNR boat launch. At Arbutus Lake, there's a DNR boat launch. So that's taking boats of all sizes. And then you have your Arbutus 5 Park with the smaller equipment. So maybe if she gets some information from you, or not just she, but the whole Board of Trustees can work together and make that a possibility. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you.
That's a great idea.
All right. If there's no more public comment, we can move on to discussion about our upcoming meeting dates, May 19th.
2025.
Yeah.
Do.
And then, it's not a meeting, but just another reminder about Saturday, May 3rd for the geocaching thing. I'll be there for about an hour, but I have a funeral that I need to attend. I think that's at 2 o'clock, so,
And it starts at 1.
yes,
correct?
so,
At Grace McDonald
correct,
Pavilion.
yep, so,
I planned on doing something similar to kind of this sledding party. I'll be there probably like 15 minutes, half an hour
Yeah.
early, and setting up and be there to meet Peter
Yeah.
and whoever the representative is. If you need help with food stuff, let me know.
Okay, I should be able,
I'll plan on being there early to help out.
lemonade, granola bars,
Yeah, I think,
suggestions?
yeah, it's kind of similar to what.
Ask Oriana if they can give you some Santa Cruz
Oh, they
lemonade.
will, yeah, they will do,
Be
they'll do
specific.
like mini sponsor grant things. They
will?
have donated food to the district before for certain event, like certain small events, snacks and the like.
Do you want me to reach out to them?
That would be
instead?
great.
It's on their website, there's an inquiry
Kirsten in
form.
marketing. Be specific on the lemonade.
They've got really good lemonade there, huh?
Yeah, they have a lot of that.
I think
And it is
lemonade would
good
be
lemonade.
good. Just some trail snack. I mean, it's fitting for
Mm-hmm.
hiking, geocaching,
Sure, okay.
grab and go, kind of. I don't think anything too elaborate. Don't need hot chocolate or anything. It should hopefully be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll reach out to them.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. If there's no more else to talk about, we can move to adjourn the meeting for Monday, April 21st at 7:01 PM.
Second?
All right, meeting's adjourned.